Good evening, friends. Welcome to the second show of Dinner with Mr. Orbs. Tonight I've got a very simple supper for us. We have pork with a little cabbage and potato, but they're all special dishes, so we have to wait and see how we do that. And the first thing I'm going to do is peel some potatoes to boil, so that you can get done immediately. The first thing we need to do is peel our potatoes, and I haven't got a potato peeler, I've realized, because we've just moved into the house, so I'll use a knife if I can find a small knife. And it's just as simple as with a peeler. You merely, that's how we do it in the restaurant, in fact, when you have to do turned potatoes. When you finish peeling your potatoes, all you need to do is chop them up, put them in some boiling water and boil them for about half an hour. But first of all, a very important ingredient in this kitchen is always a glass of wine for the cook. We've learned that this doesn't work very well unless we've got a glass of wine for ourselves. So I'm going to pour myself a nice glass of Chenin Blanc. What have we got here? Something from Pau, so that's very good. Now the trick is, if you want to cook it as quickly as possible, is to cut them into the smallest pieces possible. And by that, you just halve it, quarter it, and I reckon about that big is pretty good. And there we are. Potatoes ready to go in the pot, and boil some water in the kettle so that makes it a bit quicker for us, otherwise we'll be here all night. The next dish is quite exciting because it requires a few seconds cooking, and you sip a glass of wine as you're going along. And you can actually do this about an hour in advance of your guests or your housemates arriving, because we serve it warm, not hot. I've got two small to medium-sized cabbages, and these you can find in all the supermarkets these days, so there's no effort there. And we take the heart out, but that's quite bitter. You don't want to eat that, really. And you just simply slide down. This one hasn't got very much. All you need to do for these is to shred them as finely as you possibly can, so that they cook the quickest. Because you're going to blanch them in boiling water for about 5 minutes. And we just simply knife down, but that's sort of fine. The next thing we need to do is to blanch this for about 5 minutes in boiling water, and you need a big pot, as you can see. But the good thing about this dish, you can actually use whatever's left over as a nice salad to accompany some pork sausage or something the next day, and it keeps for about 3 days. All your cabbage in there, beautiful colour. And add the water, and you're away. The same sort of heat as the other one, moderate heat. So our cabbage has been going for about 5 or 6 minutes, and you can see it is still firm, with crunch, but not soggy. So you turn your stove off, and we strain it. Now the trick is to leave the lid open, and you can see how lovely and luscious. Oh my goodness. Leave it open so that it cools down but does not go cold, because it is a warm salad after all. So I'll leave that there, and we'll dress it in about 5 minutes or so. In the meantime, I'm going to get my apple, get ready to go in there, cut it in half, and peel it. So when you've peeled your apples, all you need to do is cut them into small dice, and I'll show you exactly how big they need to be. So you've got about that thickness, and then you just run down lengthways and dice to about that size. So place your apple on top of the cabbage and just leave it there. No need to stir it just yet, because we'll dress it later. And now you can crack on with the rest of the dish. So we've drained our potatoes, and I'm leaving them on the side there to keep warm whilst we crack on with the rest of the dish. And this involves our pork. And I've got here 5 chops, but I'm only cooking 4, because there's 4 of us coming for lunch today. And I bought these this morning. And pork is a great meat for a sort of lower budget or less fussy type of cooking, because it doesn't cost you very much, but the flavors are great. and we have lots of piggies running around everywhere, so it's fine. All you need is a big tray, and you're going to place our breadcrumbs on the tray, and need some sage. This is a wonderful herb, I love it. It goes well with pastas and all sorts of other things. And we need to chop it very roughly, and simply throw it onto the breadcrumbs. And season it well, as always. Salt and pepper. And you can smell the aroma. You can't, but I can. It's quite fantastic. Pork and sage are great friends. It's a bit like tomato and basil. So season it well. Give it a bit of a mix. Get your same bowl so that it saves you washing up. And all you need is a couple of medium or small eggs. Which are hard-boiled. It's hard-boiled. Crack your eggs into a bowl. Lovely fresh eggs. 2 should be quite enough for about 4. Beautiful. And simply whisk. In fact, what you might like to do is take some of the fat off if you've got skinny friends coming, but I don't have skinny friends, I have healthy friends. Turn them over like that, spread all the breadcrumbs, get as much packed on as you possibly can, because it gives you a lovely crispy finish when you're done. So the next step is to actually cook the pork chops, and that only takes 20 minutes in total. All you need is about, well, this is a 250 gram thing of butter. I reckon a third is a good start. So we add a little olive oil, and we've got our dear faithful Mr. Creek here, which we actually quite like this. This is good stuff. I think everybody should use it. Forget all the rest of the Italian and the Spanish and whatever. Go home and get yourself a good bottle of olive oil. And you need about a teaspoonful. And that just to stop everything burning. And the butter burns after a few seconds if you don't watch it. That is now ready for our chop, and you place it always away from you, because if the fat spits, you're in it. What you want to see is the butter bubbling quite gently like that for about 10 minutes, and then turn the heat down. So you start on a highish, moving down to medium, and you can hear it. Bellissimo. In the meantime, I think we should get on with our mashed potatoes. And you can see they're beautifully dried. No water. Make sure there's no water left in there. Is I've put it through a sieve. Because I don't like lumps. No lumps. We don't do lumps. Place the salad. A beautiful chop. Creamed potatoes to finish. Stirring in the last bit of the cream in there. To place just gently like that, and dinner is served. Enjoy.